guys, it's Gia, and today I just want to talk about something that's, it might be controversial to say it. It's kind of an unpopular opinion to have in this day and age, this current political, social climate, and that is, I don't think, for us women, that casual sex is it. I don't, and that's quite a faraway concept from what I used to believe. So I went through this stage, went through my slut stage, where, yeah, I was late teens, I think, maybe 19, 20 particularly, where it was, yeah, my hoe phase. And I was lying to myself. I had trauma that I was trying to, I don't know about suppress, but trying to take control and power over what had happened. So in order for this trauma to somehow become irrelevant and like didn't matter and like I'm tough, I'm over it, all this stuff, it was empowering to go up to somebody and be like, I'm gonna sleep with you. And for some reason in my brain that felt like taking control over a situation where I didn't have control. And again, looking back, particularly at that younger age, like 19, 20, my brain was not fully developed, and I thought that was a great idea. And I can see where I was at. I can see my logic then going, okay, well this happened, power was taken away, how do I get power back? So I was like, well, I'm gonna sleep with these people. I'm going to take control in a sexual situation where I didn't have control originally. And yeah, I seem to think that was working for me. But at the same time, I was also very, very detached. And to sleep with these people, I had to completely shut off. And I thought I was like king shit. I was just like, oh, I can, you know, sleep around like a guy and, you know, do this stuff. And, you know, I'm progressive and all this stuff, like feminism, all this. And it was working, I guess, for me for a couple of years. It wasn't. It was me shutting off from my feelings, lying to myself, and pretending it was all fine, when in reality I was not happy. I was in a very dark place mentally. I was also, trigger warning, I was a self-harmer for many, many years, and it was a form, for me, I guess, of self-harm that was not obvious. It was a very subtle form of self-harm, and people were like, well, you slept with people, that's not self-harm. I think it's the way how I went about it. You sleep with people, you get validation, you're like, oh, they're attracted to me, but in these situations, like, I was having sex with people, but I was getting nothing out of it. Like, particularly as women, we are, or at least we were, originally told, like, our pleasure was not as important as a man's. Like, you would sleep with somebody and you know, he was gonna get off. Like, 99% of the time, the dude gets off. And a high percentage of the time, the woman does not. And that was kind of seen as very, very normal. And I was walking away from these experiences and going, okay, this could have been better, but it's cool. Like, you know, I had sex. It was just a really warped way of thinking. Like, you know, I got my validation that he was attracted to me, he had sex with me, and but I'm like, well, what did I actually get out of that? Like, you know, I deserve pleasure too. Like, I'm walking away from these situations, I'm not having an orgasm, I'm not connected, really. This is like a casual encounter. This is somebody I don't really know. This is someone who does not know my body, and I'm not really going to know theirs, because we are pretty much one step above strangers. Like, it's like a stranger, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to give you this really intimate part of myself. And I thought I was doing fine. I was just like, well, I can shut off. Like, I can detach from this situation. I'm fine. But I don't think I was realizing the extent of what was going on. Like, the damage it was doing, and there's no way in my late teens, early 20s, I would have admitted that to myself, that I was doing that. Like, I don't think that I would have been able to hear those words and take them on board. I would have got very defensive. I would have gone, no, this is feminism. Like, I'm sleeping with people. I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. Like, I can sleep, sleep with people like a man can. Not get feelings, not, just get up and go straight after. Like, there was this whole... I was proud of myself for being able to do that. Guys would give you more attention because they're just like, oh yeah, she's great. She won't, like, stay afterwards. She'll just get up and go. I don't have to do anything, I can just kind of nut and she'll, piss off. And it was like, I don't know why I thought that was empowering. Like, I don't know why I was getting ready, going and dressing up for these dudes, like, literally just to show up to give them an orgasm. I was not getting one. I wasn't even really enjoying the experience, like, majority of the time. Just detached and, out of body for a lot of it, because I didn't know these dudes. Like, I've just deprived myself. I'm like, oh, I can, like, detach from my body because of trauma. It was just this really weird flex I had going on with myself, and I'm just like, looking back now, I'm like, what the hell were you doing? I just wish I knew then what I know now, where it's okay to question these things and to kind of look at things differently and have a different opinion now. It's okay to evolve and change your opinions. And who knows, 10 years time, I might have a completely different opinion again on, this topic. I could be like, oh yeah, no, casual sex is the bomb again. Like, I don't know. So what I was doing is I was having these kind of casual, even like relationships. Like, I was dating these people, but again, I was not fully committed to them, where it was... I'd get in a relationship and the first thing that would hit my brain was, how the fuck can I get out of this relationship? So I was not enjoying being in relationships, but I seemed to find myself continuously in one way or another. And there was this commitment that I didn't want to have, where it's just like, okay, I need to be with somebody because everyone's saying I need to be with somebody. I feel like I need to, but then I'd get in one. I'm like, I don't want to be in this. And that was like a decade of me being in relationships that I did not want to be in. Some were abusive assholes, I will say that, and some were really, really nice. But it just hit me one day where I'm like, I just don't want to be with anyone. I don't want to be dating. Like, I've been doing this for like, since my teens, and I haven't been able to figure out who I am outside of being with somebody else. Like, it was very... yeah, it was a scary realization where I'm like, I need to be by myself and figure out who I am. And as soon as I had that realization, oh my god, like, it was so freeing. And it was, yeah, because it was so easy for me to get manipulated and trapped in these relationships that I did not want to be in. And particularly with abusive assholes, it was like, I'd get in it and then I'd just be like, how the fuck am I going to get out of this? And then they do threats of like, if you break up with me, I'll kill myself. I will... people like cut themselves in front of me, and I'd just be like, oh my god, so of course you're going to stay because you don't want your partner to kill themselves. Like, even though there is such a toxic element, it's so toxic. But you don't want any harm to come to people, even if you do start to detest them because they're being assholes and you want to get out of the relationship. You don't want harm to come to them. And that's how I was continually roped back into these relationships that I didn't want to be in. And people would always be like, why can't you just get out? Like, just get out of the relationships. And I didn't feel like I could. Now being out of it, I can see it now from the outside in. But when you're on the inside out, you can't see what you can see from a different perspective. Looking back, I'm like, yeah, I should have just done that. But it's like, when you're in that mindset, when you're with abusive people, you don't know how to get out. There's a brainwash element that they can do to manipulate, control you. Like, there's still stuff that somebody will like do. Like, somebody might hit, like, knock on a door too hard, or like, shut a cupboard too quickly, and I will still jump. There'll still be a physical reaction that is retained in my body from a traumatic experience. Even though there is no threat, like real threat now, the body remembers, the brain remembers, and that stuff does stick with you. Back to the original part of the video, why I think casual sex just is not it. After these relationships, I was like, alright, so it's been a good several years since I had my hoe phase. I'm gonna see if I can still do it. I'm gonna see if I can still, fuck like a man. Because when I was doing it last time, it would have been maybe early 20s, 19, 20. And I'm 27 now. I was 26, I think, when I was like, all right, I'm going to redo this. Let's, you know, see how it goes, see if I still got it. So, would have been middle to end of last year was when I was trying to relive this bizarre period in my life, to kind of see if I still had it, if I still enjoyed it. And the results were really shocking to me, because it was, I started doing it and I'm like, alright, I enjoyed it back then, I'm going to enjoy it now. And I didn't. Like, I tried. I was just like, maybe I just need a different person. Maybe I was just jumping in between people in the last half of last year, and it was, I hated it. Like, I genuinely was more in myself and realizing, alright, I'm not having an orgasm with these random people. I'm not even enjoying the sex with these people. I don't want to say I don't feel safe, but I didn't feel, you just feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't really know you. Like, I'd have to get drunk to engage with these people. I couldn't do it sober, God no. Which is a red flag in itself. Like, if I can't even have a conversation with this person sober, why the hell am I sleeping with them? Like, I don't know why it wasn't computing. And I don't know why I felt the need to have to do this again. Like, I don't know. It was like, I realised it wasn't empowering. Like, there is nothing empowering about going to somebody's house that you don't really know, having sex with them, not getting anything out of it, just getting them off, and then leaving straight after. Like, feel like, oh, you just weren't having good sex. I'm like, God no I wasn't, but at the same time, it doesn't work. I don't think casual sex works, especially for women. Like, we are, as much as we want to think we are the same as men, we think the same, we don't. We are different. The sexes are different, and I think that is a really triggering thing for a lot of people to hear, and I don't know why. But, yet again, I used to think, oh, you know, I'm just like a man, I can do this. So I was very, like, hearing myself say this now, 10 years ago, I would have slapped myself in the face. Because I'm like, no, you can't say that, you know, anything a man can do, a woman can do, and stuff. And I'm like, yes, we are capable of many, many, many things. But the thing is, we're not the same. Like, 100%, I believe in 100% equality, 100%. But we have to realise our brains are not wired the same. And again, there are exceptions. There are 100% exceptions to that rule. But for the majority, and it is a triggering thing for, you know, to say in this political climate and stuff, because people don't want to hear that. Well, it's seen as anti-progressive, anti-feminist, anti-this. They just want to cancel everyone for everything, to have a different opinion. And I'm just saying, I've lived on both sides of this. I would, you know, get up in your face if you tried to tell me that I couldn't have sex like a man. I couldn't, you know, detach during, so I could detach, so therefore I can have sex like a man. But then I walk out of it and I'm like, I just feel empty. And you hear this from dudes too, where guys are like, yeah, okay, I got off, but I didn't really feel anything. And again, sex should not be selfish. So we're hooking up with people for our own benefit. Like, sex is meant to be a shared event. Like, this isn't you're just going somewhere to masturbate in somebody or masturbate on somebody. Like, this is not what that is. Like, sex is one of the most sacred things we can give another human being. Like, it is intimate, whether we want to realise that or not. And trust me, I did not want to think that. I did not want to realise that. Fuck no. No. Do not tell me sex is intimate. It is casual. I don't have to care about this person. They don't have to care about me. But you walk away and you are wounded. Like, whether you will, like, realise it or not, parts of you will remain with that other person. Like, you are sharing something you can't get back with somebody. You are exchanging these energies. Like, you don't know what they're up to. Like, you know, they could be in this whole minefield, and you could be taking on their energy, and they could be taking on your energy, and you are swapping energies. Like, we are energy, and we are swapping these with people we don't know. And as much as I don't like being in relationships, like, I think that is where we thrive sexually. Like, there is a connection. We do well when there is a connection with other people. We are social beings, particularly as women. We need to be comfortable to have sex. If we're not comfortable, shop closes up, we get tight, we get rigid, we don't feel safe. Like, we could feel safe with the person, but there is an internal thing in us that doesn't feel safe enough to relax. And if we do, and then we don't know these people, we might have this wall up. And again, we're not connecting with this person. So we're not getting a full experience of what we could be getting. And again, I don't want to be in relationships. So the only option then, I guess, is like friends with benefits sort of a thing. That can-ish work. It can. Again, it's like, it can get so confusing. I've had them, and it's like, I feel more comfortable in that situation with a friends with benefits sort of a thing than a casual hookup. You know more about each other's bodies over time because you are consistently around each other. But then I also think there's a negative from seeing somebody to that much, and sharing such an intimate thing, where both of you are going to get more attached to each other, and if you don't want that, yeah, it's confusing. It's like, be celibate or be in a relationship. That seems to be the only two options, and both of them sound like they suck. So I think people are, we're trying to do the best with what we have, and we just don't know what the hell we want a lot of the time. But yeah, I think women especially are wired different when it comes to sex. And I, growing up religious, I did not want to believe that. God, no. Like, anything a man can do, a woman can do better and stuff. Like, we are all capable of so much, but the sexes are not the same. But mentally, physically, all these things, we are not the same. And I think there is a beauty in being different from each other. And it can be hella confusing. I agree. I 100% agree with that. But yeah, I just don't think casual sex is it. I don't think it's it for anyone, but especially for women. So yeah, and I realised that at the end of last year when I'm just like, I fucking hate this. I was walking back from some guy's house. I'd stayed the night. Again, didn't sleep. It felt so uncomfortable. So this 3-time rule. I'd hook up with somebody 3 times and then I'd call it quits. Because after 3 times, I was finding I would start to get more attached, or they would get more attached. And it seemed like 3 was my magical number. And I was like, oh no, it's the 3rd time. Like, I won't see them again. Or I'll date them. Like, that was kind of the 3-time rule. But then when I was having sex with people and not wanting to date them, I was like, okay, well, I actually can't hook up with them because, like, what's going to happen then? So, but yeah, I was leaving his place, early morning. Again, if they're not going to offer you food the next day or, like, after the act itself, like, if they don't care how you're feeling, if they just want you in and out, like, if they just want you out of their house, like, that is not respecting yourself and they're not respecting you. You deserve so much better. You're, like, even if it is something more casual, like, there needs to be, I think, to make it work as well as it can work in that situation, you need to have mutual respect for each other. You have to care about each other having pleasure, about each other getting off. Like, you can't be selfish. And I think that is where casual sex just fails miserably. Because, yeah, you are hooking up with somebody for your own physical gain. And a lot of people don't actually care, like, how the other person's feeling. Like, they don't really care if they're getting off. They don't care. Like, you're just there. You're there to use, There was this time I was just, like, hooking up with people to get a high body count. And for some reason, there was this mental competition with myself to go, hit this number, I was not seeing people as people. I was seeing them as numbers, like, goals to reach. Like, it was bizarre. And I cannot understand why my brain was like, do that. Like... It was bizarre, and I was getting nothing out of it other than some numbers. These imaginary numbers that did not matter. Like, these weren't people, these were numbers. And I was wondering why I was so chronically unhappy. Like, no shit. You are treating these people like they don't exist. And you're pretending it's feminism. Like, what? You're like, yeah, I've had trauma, so therefore I'm going to do... Like, I'm sorry, like, trauma is a fucking bitch. Like, trauma is the literal worst, but it does not give you an excuse to go out and be a dickhead to everyone else. It just doesn't. And I would be like, oh, well, this happened to me, so therefore I'm allowed to... No. And I was angry. I wanted to hurt people because I got hurt, and that's not the answer. That's just not it. Just because I was hurt gives me no right to go off and hurt other people. Like, that's just continuing a cycle that I don't want to be a part of. And it's unfortunate that it's taken me this many years to reach this conclusion of casual sex ain't it. Don't fucking hurt other people just because you're hurt. Like, you can't live a life like that and expect people to want to be around you. Like, you know, if you have trauma, like, go see someone, talk to someone, get counselling, get therapy. Don't go hurt other people just because you're hurt. But yes, this is going on for quite a tangent now, I've noticed. But yes, that's all I have to say today. And yeah, any questions or you want more of a discussion or topic on this, let me know and I'll make another one. But yes, have a good day, guys. Bye.